Hello everyone, my name is Prashant and the topic for today's video is Introduction to Terraform. Okay. So let's first try to understand what Terraform is and what is the purpose it is trying to solve. So let me go to my text editor, and basically Terraform is a tool which helps us to provision our infrastructure. So you probably heard a word called IAC, which is infrastructure as a code. So basically we tell Terraform like we want this infrastructure. Let's say I'm telling Terraform that I want to create two instances, and then I'm going to declare it in the form of something called HCL or HashiCorp configuration language, and it is the responsibility of a Terraform to create that infrastructure for me or to create that end state for me. That is the main use and that is the main purpose of a Terraform. Okay. So basically it is a tool for provisioning infrastructure, and it supports multiple cloud providers like AWS, GCP, Google, OpenStack. All these are being supported by Terraform. So let me show you. Now this one. So if you look here, somewhere they have provided configuration providers. Okay, probably Terraform providers. Okay, this is the one. So as you can see, Terraform support almost all the cloud platform like Alibaba. It also has a provider for Kubernetes, Active Directory, DNS, Helm, you name it. Terraform should have provider for it. Okay. Now installing Terraform is pretty straightforward. So I will say Terraform download. It's just a one single binary, and you just need to download it. For example, this one. Okay, and it's a single binary which is written in Golang language. And what exactly you need to do, you need to download it and just put it in the path in your operating system path. For example, in my case, if you see, I put it inside the user local bin Terraform. So once the binary is downloaded, for example this guy, like this guy, you need to untar it and put it inside this folder. Okay, so basically what exactly you need to do, let me show you. Unzip, let's say Terraform, the new version. Yes, and once you are done with that, you just need to copy it into the any of these path which is defined here. Okay, once you copied it, make sure the file is executable. Example, user local bin Terraform. Okay, and to verify it, you can run Terraform --version. So in my case, I'm using 1.0.2, but the latest version is 1.0.3, but that is fine for this demo. Okay. So once the Terraform binary is downloaded and it's working, you are able to see the version of it. The next step is to configure your cloud provider credentials. Okay. So basically for this demo, I'm using AWS, but you can use any of the cloud provider based on your requirement. But I'm going to show you with the help of an AWS. So what exactly you need to do? You need to go to your AWS console. Okay, logged in. Okay, go to the IAM, users, and go to the particular user, security credentials, and here you can create the access key. Okay, so you can create this access key and secret access key, and then you need to have the AWS CLI installed. I connect user. Okay, and I already have it installed. So you need to run AWS configure, and then you need to provide those access key, secret access key, the region where you want to create your resources, and what is the default output format. And I'm choosing JSON, but you can choose text as well as table. And now I think it even supports YAML also. Okay, so what exactly Terraform is going to do is that once you have the Terraform binary stored, it is going to use these credentials that we have configured and going to make an API call on behalf of you to the AWS. Okay, let me repeat it again. You have this Terraform installed. What Terraform is going to do, it is going to take these credentials, okay, use these credentials, and using these credentials, it is going to make the API call on behalf of you, like whatever the Terraform or the STL code you have written. Okay, and it is going to create the resources for you. Okay, so just few last points. Like I mentioned, it is written in Golang, the Terraform. Okay, it uses a special language which is developed by HashiCorp. It's called HashiCorp Configuration language, and all the code that you're going to write, it ends with the .tf extension, which is a Terraform extension. There are few exceptions for that, but let's start with something basic. Okay, and it uses a declarative language. With that, I mean that you need to define what infrastructure you want, and Terraform will figure it out how to create it. Okay, so in the form of STL, you are going to define the infrastructure, and it's Terraform responsibility. It's Terraform responsibility to create that infrastructure for you. Okay, so that is the work of our Terraform. Okay, so now with all these basics in place, let's try to create our first resource using Terraform. Okay, so for that, I will go to my PyCharm editor and just make sure, I mean, this is just a personal preference. If you go to a settings and where is that? Plugins. Okay. And search for HashiCorp. So there is a Terraform plugin for the HashiCorp, which is going to do all the syntax highlighting for you. And I mean, this is a lifesaver. So, I mean, if you are using PyCharm, I will highly recommend to use this plugin. Okay. Now, the first file which we are going to create is called the main.tf, where I am going to define my configuration. Okay. It can be of any name, but this is a standard naming convention that you will see in most of the documentation. So I will stick with that. So first thing what we are going to do is going to define the provider block. Okay. And in this case, provider is AWS and region is US West 2. Okay. So what do I mean by that? So if you go to this is what I told you, that the Terraform support multiple providers, and that's what we are telling it to the Terraform, that okay, in this case I want to create my resources in AWS in this following region. Okay, and in this case, and for this demo, I'm going to create one EC2 instance. Okay, so to create an EC2 instance, let's go to the Terraform documentation, resource overview, not this one. This is the Terraform docs. Go to EC2 and there is something called AWS underscore instance. Okay, so let's start with this basic example. So resource is equal to AWS underscore instance. Okay, let's say I will say my example AMI and instance type. This is the bare minimum you need to add it to your code. Okay, so AMI is the Amazon machine image, but before that let me start with this. So here what we are doing, I am defining a resource called AWS instance. This is where I am telling Terraform to create an instance. So if you are not familiar with AWS, instance means that I am going to create a virtual machine. Think of instance like a virtual machine. Okay. The second thing is my example. This is a variable name, and this is the variable which I am going to reference throughout in my code. So for the timing, just think of it's a variable which is going to refer to this AWS instance. Then the second thing is AMI. AMI stand for Amazon machine image. So think of machine image like a ISO. So if you need to if you need to boot an operating system, you need an ISO image. So in this case, it's this AMI which I need to provide it to create my instance. Okay. There are multiple ways to figure it out. I will show you the most simplest one right now, but we are going to make it, I'm going to show you how to automate this process in the next video. So for that, go to EC2. Okay, launch instance. Okay, search for CentOS, or let's search for CentOS. Okay, you will see this one. Okay. Let's continue. The problem with this is that it will not show you the AMI ID. So let me say review and launch. Okay. Somewhere you will see AMI ID. Okay, so it is not showing the AMI ID. Okay. For this demo, let me stick with the other AMI and then I will show you how to find out. So this is the AMI ID which I need to supply into my code. So one is for 64-bit architecture, the other is for 64-bit ARM architecture. So here I'm going to supply AMI ID. The next is the instance type. So AWS provide you a different instance family. Okay, with what that I mean that for example, in this case, I'm going to use t2.micro. So what t2.micro provide me? 1 CPU and 1 GB of memory. So if you go to the AWS console, let me select this. So AWS provide you a bunch of these instance family depending upon your requirement. Because this is a demo and I want to use this free tier, I am using this T2 micro. But if your requirement is like, let's say you are building a complex application or the one which require a high amount of CPU, you can go with T3.2x large or whatever be your requirement. Okay. So let me fill this and that's it. Okay. So now we have our code ready. The first command that we are going to run is called Terraform Init. Terraform Init. Okay. So what this Terraform Init is doing. Okay. So what this will do, it's going to download a code for the given provider. So if you see here, it is downloading a code for the AWS. Okay. So if you want to understand or want to dig deeper into it, the simplest way to understand this is like the Terraform binary that we have downloaded and placed into our user local bin does not come with the code for the provider. For example, in this case, it's AWS. So when you are first going to start the Terraform, you need to run the Terraform init. What Terraform init is going to do, it's going to scan your code, okay, and figure out which provider we are going to you are using, and it's going to download the code for that particular provider. Okay, And once this has been done, if you are going to perform ls-al, you will see that it is going to it will create a directory called .terraform, .terraform, and if you look inside the directory, it's downloaded the code for the provider, which is, see, this one. Okay, so the first step is Terraform Init. The next command which I recommend, and it is not mandatory, but I will definitely say, is called FMT. So what Terraform FMT will do, it's going to format your code. Okay, so it's what this command is going to do, is going to rewrite your Terraform configuration into a canonical format and style. So I mean, this is just for your own purpose, and I think in some companies there is a policy that you cannot means you need to submit a formatted code, or the code which is in the particular canonical format, or the lint check must need to be passed before you're going to like merge that code into your master branch. So this is going to format the code. Okay, the next command that we are going to run is called Terraform plan. Okay, so what this plan command is going to do, if you look up, it is saying that it is creating something. Plus means create. If you see negative, minus here, it means it's going to delete. And if you see this kind of a sign, tilde, it will say that it's going to modify the code. Okay, so what this command is doing, that it is giving you a snapshot of what exactly it is going to do. So this is a really useful command where you, without applying any change to your environment, if you want to see what exactly your Terraform code is going to do, this is what this command is all about. Okay, so it's going to tell you that it is going to use this AMI ID, okay, this instance type, and all these things will be generated on the runtime. Okay, now it say 1 to add, this is the most important line, 0 to change, and 0 to destroy. Okay, you can even save the output of this command to out, and let's say TF, I will say TF plan. Okay, and then the next command that you're going to run is called Terraform apply, and this is the command which is going to apply your changes. Okay, so there's one way, like I will run this command and that will apply my changes, and the last command that we have run, where we have saved the output to a TF plan command, I can even run that, and that is going to, like, if you remember, we have run this command and saved the output in TF plan. I can even supply this file to a Terraform apply command, and that is going to like create the resources for me. Okay, so I can even supply the Terraform apply command, the file to this Terraform apply command. So in this case, I'm just running Terraform apply. Okay, and if you see, the first output looks similar to the plan command. So it is a Terraform is again warning you or telling you, okay, if you want to verify this, just verify it over here, and then it will give you this, and then it is going to ask you whether you want to approve these changes or not. So one more kind of a sanity check the Terraform is telling you. So I will say yes. Okay, and now as you can see, Terraform is creating my instance. So if I go back to my AWS console, I'll say cancel, one running, and as you can see, Terraform start creating this instance for me, this guy, 127. Okay, so you see 1127. Okay, now this is all about creation. If you are doing this for testing purpose and you said that, okay, I'm done with all my testing, the next command that you are going to run is called Terraform destroy. Okay, it will tell you, like for example in plan it say 1 to add, 0 to change and 0 to destroy. In the case of a destroy, it is telling you that it's going to destroy, and what is going to destroy? It's going to destroy the one resource. So now it's going to ask you whether are you sure that you want to run this. And see, it's destroying our instance. Let's go to AWS console and verify. So as you see, it's shutting down, and in some time it will be in the terminated state. Okay. So far we have learned 4 commands actually. First is Terraform Init, which is going to download the code based on the provider. Then the second command is Terraform and then format, which is going to format the code based on the, formatting the code in the canonical format. Then we have the plan, which is just going to show you what Terraform is actually going to create. And finally, to apply your changes, you are going to run the apply command. And if you are satisfied with the changes and you want to destroy it or clean up the resources, you are going to run the Terraform destroy. Okay. One thing before I wrap up this video, as you can see that in Terraform destroy, or when we run the Terraform apply command, we need to use the yes command. I need to type yes to allow Terraform that this is the changes, okay, to approve my changes. In case of a automation system where you do not have the privilege, for example, if you're running this build via Jenkins, somebody need to manually approve it, which is a good practice. But if you're building an automation, let me show you Terraform apply -help. I think this, yeah. So there is an option, if you look above, auto approve. So what this is going to do, it's going to skip the interactive approval of plan before applying. That's the work of the auto approval. Okay. So if you want to skip the yes part, I will not recommend this at all unless or until you have some really valid reason or you are absolutely sure that whatever you are doing is absolutely correct. But I always say that a manual intervention so that you can read your plan, and if you are satisfied with the plan output, then only you are going to apply those changes. Okay. So this is a little bit about introduction to Terraform. Thanks once again for watching this video. If you have any question, please put in the comment section. I will try my best to answer those questions. Thanks once again. Bye.